Welcome to The Pleasure of Writing. I'm Will.
I'm Max.
And we're going to do something fun. We were just about to pack up. We've done a couple YouTube videos tonight already. But as we were doing so, a thought struck me. And I've seen a couple of these products lately. And in a recent previous video, Max pointed out a stub nib on a Lamy.
Yeah.
And it jogged my memory of the Lamy calligraphy set.
Sure.
So I think you've seen these. These are, it's a long ass fountain pen.
Yeah.
First of all.
Why don't you give me that guy?
Yeah. So, quick background. Fountain pens and calligraphy pens are very different. We have a lot of people who come in here asking for calligraphy. They want to do calligraphy.
That is true.
Some people conflate calligraphy with cursive writing. That's one aspect. The other thing is, though, that fountain pens and rollerballs both use the water-based ink, whereas calligraphy uses generally a pigment-based ink. Calligraphy is actually more of an art form, like a visual art form, than writing. Like writing is
There's a distinction to be made.
I think so. Yes. I don't think an illustrator would disagree with that. That they're, when you're doing calligraphy, even though you are writing words, you are kind of making an art form out of that.
Sure.
So we don't actually carry a lot of calligraphy products. We don't have any calligraphy ink in the store, for example. I don't believe.
But you can't really. There's a lot of issues with using calligraphy inks in fountain.
Exactly. Yes.
Which we've talked about.
You don't want to use a pigment ink in a fountain pen, for example. But the stub nib is one of the ways that you get a line variation in a fountain pen. So there's a music nib, for example, that Platinum makes. Well, I'm sure other companies strip in as well. And we've talked about a Scribe nib from Estabrook. But these are kind of accessible calligraphy sets. So this comes as an interchangeable stub. And they're each wider than the last one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you get, I think, a 1.3, a 1.7.
Yeah, this is 1.5, this is 1.9.
Yeah, and then that might be a 2 something then.
Yikers.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy,
it's really, really an interesting thing. And I think these are actually relatively inexpensive.
That's a pretty elegant solution around the whole, because calligraphy is like a flexible nib.
Exactly.
It's literally the pressure that you're putting on that instead of the alignment.
Well, some of them. Some aren't flexible. Some of them are just, I think it's actually more the ink than flexibility. Like, I don't know that all calligraphy pens.
Do you think some are more like
I think some of them are like a blade.
Gotcha.
Almost like a Bob Ross painting. It's the happy little pen. But so this is the Lamy set.
That's very cool.
And when people come in and say that they want a calligraphy pen, we generally tell them, gives them some background without going into a long dissertation. I hope I did not.
I do think this is pretty. I mean, the pen itself is also.
It's a really nice pen.
Yeah, Lamy really kind
from
of.
Lamy.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of nice pens,
there.
this is the one that sparked the idea because this is the FaberCastell set, which is exactly the same thing. It's a calligraphy set that has the FaberCastell. I think it's a Tomatillo, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So FaberCastell has a guilloche. The Tomatillo is kind of a fluted wood.
It's either Tomicio or Tomitio. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Tomicio might be.
Tomitillo.
But these are similar, interchangeable nibs. Isn't that neat?
That's very neat.
Isn't that cool? So I think this is a little more expensive. This is, I want to say, in the $325 range. But it comes in this lovely little gift set that, closes. And then I also brought this out because this is a glass nibbed dip pen.
Right.
And this is basically how you, if you're going to test ink, you take this off with this little sleeve here. You dip it, and you're not going to get your line variation, but this is a great way to test new inks, to find out what they look like, to find out what the characteristics of an ink are. So what sheens they have. And
also, of course, without having to worry about it damaging the pen at all, because that's not going to
I was just getting there. Precisely. Yeah, exactly. So, there's a whole lot of different ways to vary the pleasure of writing that you feel on the page.
I guess so.
When you get a pen like this, you're going to get, it's kind of like buying, $300 for this set is like buying 3 FaberCastell fountain pens in one, which is insane. One FaberCastell fountain pen is, decently expensive. It's an investment. Sure. It's in the several $100 range. This one is the Lamy, I believe, is less expensive. But I thought
it's fun to be able to jump into this kind of thing and make it work for you.
Isn't that neat? So you get some variation about it. If you look at our Instagram, I write often with either a platinum carnelian with a music nib or a Esterbrook Esty with a scribe nib. They are opposite each other. A music nib writes thin horizontal lines and wide vertical lines, and the scribe nib writes the opposite. And I do that because it's not flexible, but it gives me line variation, which I think when people are asking for calligraphy, it's not about the flexibility. Like people who want a flexible nib, it's more about I want a different line variation.
Yeah, there's an idea that somebody who's trying to get into fountain pens is thinking about that already. They have that idea in their head about that's kind of what writing with a fountain pen is going to look like. And
right.
You get a needlepoint from Esterbrook. No, it's not.
No,
not going to
it's definitely not going to. Yeah.
But definitely, and also it's not just writing necessarily, it's learning how to write with these nibs too. So it's another way that you can be mindful and engaged.
Yeah.
Actually get involved with the pleasure of writing.
There you go. Which I think is what we call ourselves. Is that what we do? I mean, wait a minute. Oh my goodness.
No, but those are great. those are really fun.
Yeah, so just thought I'd show you this. So and show you those obviously as well. Hope you like them. Find them on our website if you're interested. We have lots on our website. There's always something to be interested by. thepleasurewriting.com. And like I said, check out our Instagram so you can see them in action, because that's what I do. And share it with you. So have a great night.
We'll talk to you soon.